Ladies and gentlemen, what is up? Welcome to another edition of NBA King's Court edition. Of course, I am Derek D. Ginger King, your Youcaster for the day. No guests this week because it is the holidays, and who in the hell wants to talk about basketball on Christmas Eve? Here we go. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. During this show, you'll be able to watch and enjoy my footage of my NBA career in NBA 2K15 in the background while you listen to my velvety smooth Ray Liotta-like voice talk about your favorite NBA storylines of the week. So, let's get to it. Yes, this is a Youcast. It is a YouTube podcast for your ears. Let's get to the starting lineup. The starting lineup. Lakers win without Black Mamba. Upset Warriors. What? Durant too injured to get team back on track? AK-47 Jam. Not sure if NBA article or NRA article. Who's streaking this week? And finally, Rondo moves to Dallas. Let's begin with Rondo moving to Dallas. It's a win for Boston in this move. I think we discussed this a little bit last week, what the parameters of the deal were. This week, let's move on to why this is a good deal for Boston. Boston loses its final piece of the 2008 championship, Fabulous Four, whatever, Big Four, whatever they were called. You had Rondo, you had Kevin Garnett, you had Ray Allen, that was a championship team, and slowly but surely they've been moving them out. And I've read up on this, and surprisingly enough, this is a better move. If you're a Boston Celtics fan, things are looking good for you. They are stacked up on future picks. It's a win for Boston. They are in perfect form to rebuild in a quick manner, and they'll be back to a awesome team with a lot of awesome superstars. And not to, disrespect, I guess I should say, Sully or Olenek that are on that team. I like Olenek, I always have, and I like Sully, I always have. Sully this summer, really amped it up, and this year I think he's going to be a starter, and I think he is a starter, but he's going to be an awesome pickup. He's on my fantasy team. He was one of my stealers, one of my diamonds in the rough, and I love that guy. I love Sullinger. So Boston, if you're a fan of Boston, no worries. They'll be in good shape pretty soon. It's much more than I could say for my Jazz. My Jazz, I just don't know where we're going. So you're looking to be in good shape. It's also a win for Dallas. Dallas, maybe they can get one more championship with this move for Nowitzki. And I see it coming. I can see them in a postseason matchup. And it's the West. Anything can happen. It's the Wild Wild West this year. Anyone can get in, and anyone can stay in and beat people. Hell, we just saw the Lakers beat the damn Warriors. What happened without Kobe Bryant? So the West is a crazy animal. Anything can happen, and it should be a very exciting second half of the season. So yes, Rondo on Dallas. He's going to provide better defense against pick and rolls. That's one of his things. Right now, Dallas, it's lacking on some defensive qualities, doesn't it? I mean, Tyson Chandler was supposed to be defensive MVP of the league, and every time I've matched up against him in fantasy leagues, I've beaten whatever team he's been on. So he hasn't really outbeat me, so I don't imagine him beating many teams defensively. So now I think this is going to help him out a bit. I don't think people are going to be penetrating against him as much. He won't pick up as many fouls because Rondo is there to cut him off with the pass. Also, on offense, it's going to provide Nowitzki with better shots, and this is going to be good for Nowitzki. It's going to be good for Rondo. It's going to be good all around, and I do like this move, and it makes the Dallas Mavericks a little more interesting to watch. I said this last week too. I like Mark Cuban. I think he's going to do anything in his power to get this done because he's a lot like me. The difference in between the Mavericks and the Celtics are patient. Right? The Celtics are very patient, moving the cogs slowly, gathering picks here and there, focusing on the future. Dallas is right now. Let's get it done right now. We have Nowitzki for whoever knows how long, maybe 3 years or so. Let's get one more championship in. Let's trade for Rondo. Let's get it done. Let's do it. And they do. And that's kind of how I am. And Mark Cuban is a brilliant genius of a guy. And a lot of people don't see that about him. But I think he's a genius. He's great. And I see it. I understand his level. I want to win now. If I was the GM of the Jazz, I don't want these people who are going to build for 4 years, I'll trade them off. I want stars now. I want to win now. I want money now. I want championships now. Why wait? Why wait when you can get the job done? So I really respect Mark Cuban for getting this deal done and doing it in great fashion. I mean, it's a great deal. Rondo's at, 28 years old or so? So he still has like 5 or 6 years in him, and that's if Rondo stays happy in Dallas and stays a happy part of the cog in the machine that is the Mavericks. So it could go well for him. Alright, let's move on to the second one. Durant, injured again, has missed 3 straight games. His damn ankle just couldn't hold up in that awesome game that was Golden State Warriors versus Oklahoma City. Last week I ended with, yep, I want to watch this game, and I'm so happy I did. I believe it was the game that Oklahoma City was down. No, they were up by like 30 or something, and Golden State came roaring back and won the game because halfway in the third quarter or so, Kevin Durant twists his ankle, out with injury, and then, of course, Warriors come back and win it. So, hey, I just wanted to look at this in a perspective. Oklahoma City, not so great, right, with the time without Kevin Durant, and this is their record without Kevin Durant, 5-15, which puts them at a measly .25. That's horrible. Now let's look at the record with Kevin Durant in the 9 games that he played coming out of his injury, 7-2. Now I don't really like to look at these facts too much, or these stats too much, because it's not all about one guy. It's a team sport, and again, I'll go back to Kobe Bryant and the Lakers. It's a team sport. Sometimes you take the ball hog out of the equation, your team plays better. Not all the time, though. It's a very rare instance, and it happened in the Lakers, and it's just not happening in Oklahoma City. They need Kevin Durant. That team needs Kevin Durant. They went 7-2, and hell, look, 7-2 is 9 games, 5-15 is 20. So let's double 7-2, 14-4. Alright, suddenly you've evened up your season to a .50 season, and you're right up in the mix with all the other big-name teams looking to get those playoffs. So they need Kevin Durant back. Kevin Durant needs to stay healthy, and if that means maybe sitting him in some of these crazier, more important games like against the Warriors where he has to run a lot and chase down fast shots, or maybe the Phoenix Suns, or really quick teams or big teams, so be it. Let him own against these smaller teams like my Jazz, like the Lakers. Let him destroy them and get your team into playoff position, and then let him go all out in the playoffs and crush it. And let's see, Oklahoma City, they didn't win last year. They are still winless. Last year, I thought it was their year. I thought it was their year last year. But the Spurs winning it. So, I don't know. They need Kevin Durant. Let's see. Last week, I said he was on a fast track to catching up in the MVP race. And he hit a pitfall this week. Yeah, he ran into the Warriors. Okay, so, yeah, pretty much what I've already said. I take notes. But that one was right off of my head. I did pretty good. I pretty much covered everything I wanted to cover. He's a huge piece missing from the Thunder. Alright, I want to get into this one because I have a little bit of background knowledge on this next story. AK-47, Andre Karolinko, the drama there. So here's what happened. The 76ers need, not want, that was an NBA article that they want him to play, or Yahoo Sports article that they want him to play. They don't want him to play. They need him to play. The 76ers are damn near the worst team in the NBA right now. They're just a horrible, horrible team. They need Andre Karolinko, not only his veteran status, but his a little above average play. And they need his leadership to get a team together and to go things through. But Andre Karolinko does not want this. What happened was Andre Karolinko had a falling out with the Brooklyn's head coach, Lionel Hollins, and then he fell out of rotation. He hasn't played a game since November 13th. It has been a month and a couple of weeks. Andre Karolinko is not a stud, he's not a diamond in the rough, but he is a guy who can, he's what I like to call what is it? Tape. He's like a Band-Aid. He's not going to stop the bleeding, but he'll do enough repair work on your busted leg to get you to the hospital. And that's kind of what the 76ers want to use him for. They want to get him in the contract for 76ers. They want to let him play a little. They want him to be shopped out to other teams. They want to see what they can get for Andrei Kirilenko, whether it's leadership on the court, whether it's a star, whether it's some good young bench players from another team. They want to see what they can get out of this guy. But right now, Kirilenko is not dealing anything. He does not want to play right now. He wants to be waived out of his deal, and he'll return next year under free agency and sign with whatever team he wants under a new deal. And also, he's got some family issues in New York, and it's delayed his return to the court. So I would expect him not to play. Andrei Kirilenko on the Jazz, he was an all-star. He was pretty much the team leader. He was the face of us after Karl Malone and Stockton left. Him and Darren Williams were a 1-2 punch for the Jazz, and we did rather well with them, replacing Stockton and Malone. We did really, really, really well. And I think he can do that again. And I'm wondering if he still has an estate here in Utah. Would he ever come back to Utah? So that's the question. What do you think about Kirilenko this week? Do you think he is going to not play for the rest of the season and return next season? Or do you think he's done? Do you think he'll go to the 76ers? Do you think the 76ers will keep him? Let me know what you think about the Andrei Kirilenko drama, because it's a mess. This guy is valuable to a point, and he's not being used. That's money being lost. That's money being wasted, and it's a shame. And to be totally honest, as a bench person, I don't think he would ever want to be a bench person again. But I can see him fitting in maybe to Utah. But do we need him? I don't know. We've got a lot of great small forwards that I don't think we need him too bad. But I think he would come back. I think he'd come back to Utah. So let me know what you think about Andrei Kirilenko, and we will move on to our fourth topic. And we'll end it with streakers. Fourth topic, Lakers upset Warriors without Kobe's help. What? Boozer. I didn't like this guy. This guy came in on the Jazz, again, in the Kirilenko era, early 2000s, late 2000s, left about 2010 or so like that. And we traded him out, and we should have. Boozer, not too awesome. I've never been a fan of Boozer. In fact, my nickname for Boozer was Boozer. That was my nickname for him. And then we had Idiot Fisenko and dumbass what's-his-face on the stupid Memphis Grizzlies. Oh, I forgot his name. But I hated those guys. Those guys were the worst. They didn't look like they couldn't play basketball. I could not stand it. I did not like Boozer. Boozer, true story, twisted his ankle one Christmas, lifting, I think, furniture or presents or something up his stairs at his home and could not play a game. I don't know if that was in Utah. That might have been in Chicago. But my point is this. I've never liked Boozer. So I had to pick him up in my fantasy league about a week ago. And now now he's in the bench and he scored 18 points off the bench. Can you say #winning? #winning. Yes. I mean, look at the scorecard. Okay, so I've got the scorecard pulled up here when the Warriors got beat. Okay, so let's go and look at this real quick. Let me move the audio out of the way this way. Let's do that. Perfect. All right, let's see. So we've got, for Golden State, Harrison Barnes, 5. Can I order it in points, maybe? No, I can't. Okay, so I'm going to have to do this off the cuff. Stephen Curry, 22. Klay Thompson, 18. Not bad. 40 points between the two. I don't really know the average of these players, but I know that Curry and Thompson are the two top guys in this team. You get it followed up by David Lee, Drew Holiday with 12 and 11, followed by Barbosa, Ezeli. So, I don't know. It just doesn't look like superstar numbers from this team. Overall, let's look at their field goal percentage was 46, where the Lakers was at 51, and the Lakers crushed. So let's see. Stephen Kerr actually said that it was turnovers were the problem. So let's look at the turnovers. Turnovers 20 for that's about 5 per quarter for the Golden State Warriors. Turnovers 16 for the Lakers. So that's probably where the answer was. They didn't win by much. In the end of the game, Jeremy Lin, there was like the last 5 minutes of the game, the Lakers had a 25-point cushion, and they didn't score for the whole end of the game except for one 3-pointer by Jeremy Lin. and the Golden State Warriors came back. This game was really, really close. It ended 115 to 105. Not really, really close, but 115 to 105. Golden State outscored them by 12 points in the fourth quarter, but they got beat in every other quarter before that. So let's see. It was, let's look at the point cushion here. 66, I want to say 63, 95. 95 for the Lakers to begin. Yeah, 95. And then for the Golden State Warriors, they were at like 82 or something like that. So they were down by like 13. Is that what happened there? No, that doesn't make sense. I don't know my math, people. But anyway, so the Lakers did a good job in the first three quarters, and they got crushed in the fourth. But it just wasn't enough. Golden State Warriors fall to the Lakers. Let's see who the top people were in the Lakers. Let's look at this here. Wow, super even. Good God, they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players with double-digit points. And that's just points alone. I mean, what else do I have to look at? Assists, maybe? How many assists did they get each? 28, whereas Golden State, I think, only had 20. 8 more assists than your opponents. So that's crazy. That's crazy. That's. I wonder. Let's take Kobe out of the next game as well, and let's see. Well, I guess the next game's Christmas game, so we can't do that. But let's get him out of the next game, and let's see how the team plays. Because, I mean, I'm pretty sure Kobe Bryant doesn't want to be traded off, or he won't be traded off. I don't think he can be. I don't know what his contract says, but if you can somehow get Kobe Bryant to trade out and let the Lakers have an awesome, maybe switch to things here, maybe take out some of these players you don't know. I mean, look at this. Ronnie Price, Wayne Ellington, maybe? Ed Davis, Wesley Johnson. I don't know if those are their real first names. I'm guessing off of the first initial. That's what I'm saying. I don't know these people. Nick Young has always been a hit and miss over his career. So you've got a lot of hit and miss guys, but you don't have any for sure straight shooters. It's a lot like the Jazz team right now, where there's one guy you can kind of depend on, and in my opinion, that's like Alec Burks, and the rest of them are really hit and miss every night. I mean, Hayward is our superstar, but he's hit and miss. Mehmet Okur. Are you kidding me? Now I forgot his stupid name. Big dude. Is it okay? It's not Okur. What am I thinking? Anyway, but that's what I mean. They're all hit and miss players, and the Lakers have hit and miss players, and tonight they hit. Double digits for 7 players is nuts. That's crazy. I mean, let's look how many. 1, 2, 3, 4, I guess 5 for Golden State, and they played awesome. They got 105 at the end. So that's really interesting. That's a stat I'm going to keep track of in some of these Christmas games. So, I don't know. That's kind of really cool that they banded together as a team and they got what they wanted done. Sweet. So, looking forward for these guys. Warriors get Clippers, and that should be a good game going on Christmas Day. And Lakers get Chicago, and that should be an okay game. I don't know. I'm confident the Lakers are going to lose again, but hey, what do you know? They beat the Warriors. It could be anything. So let's move on to Streakers. This is a new segment that I have just made up today. Streakers! For the East, Atlanta, winning 5, top streaker this week, the Atlanta Hawks. DeMar Carroll is a stud, so was Millsap on the Jazz. They made a mistake letting them go. And the junkyard dog, DeMar Carroll, and Paul Millsap. You're going to get Mill-slapped by Millsap. These two guys were awesome in their final year with the Jazz. They were great. They were so good. And I'm so upset that we let them go. And it made me mad that we let them go. Those are the type of players you go, hey, come here. I'll give you money. Throw money at them. Throw them money because they're consistent. I don't like Gordon Hayward because he's not consistent. So I'm really upset that they left. But look at that. Atlanta Hawks winning 5 in a row. I think DeMar Carroll scored like 25 points, a career high for him in his previous games. So, wow, congrats to them. Sorry to see them go from the Jazz. New York Knicks have lost 5 in a row for the East. They are the worst streakers in the East for this week, tied for the second worst team in the East. The New York Knicks need to turn the boat around somehow with a superstar like Carmelo Anthony. I'm almost thinking the same situation as the Lakers. Maybe you need to keep Carmelo out of some of the more, not important games, but maybe some of the easier games. Let your team work, let your team get those connections, let the triangle offense work, because I don't think with Carmelo Anthony that it's going to work. I think this guy is a ball hog, and that's why I never pick him for my fantasy league. If he has a bad night, my field goal percentage is screwed, and he doesn't do much else. I don't really like Carmelo Anthony at all, but for the Knicks, they need to use him somehow, whether they trade him out and get some other players, start to rebuild, and let, Jackson do what he wants to do with the team, or keep Carmelo and make him fold and stand in line with what Jackson wants to do. So, what does Carmelo need to do? Carmelo can do whatever he wants, but I assume that Carmelo stayed with the Knicks trying to be the good guy, hoping for a good season with, some new management, a new coach, and I don't know, I just don't think it's working out. So, the Knicks, what are you going to say? The Knicks, they're not fun to watch, really. I don't really like watching the Knicks. They've got a cool arena, but other than that, speaking of, I think we're playing the Knicks in the background game, so, funny story, I was going to not record this game for this episode of the King's Court, but my mom unplugged the internet, and that screwed up the first recording into the third quarter. I didn't record, but it screwed up the first game into the third quarter, and then it froze on the second game, so maybe it just was destiny to play the Knicks this game. I don't know. So let's go to the West. Phoenix winning forward, best streakers in the West. They beat the Hornets, the Knicks, the Wizards, and the Mavericks in the past four, and I don't know, Phoenix. I've always liked Phoenix. I like Phoenix and Minnesota. They're two of my favorite teams besides the Jazz, like just logo-wise and team-wise. I've always been a fan of Steve Nash, and he was on the Phoenix Suns forever. So they've always been really fun games whenever they're on TV or whenever the Jazz play them. I love watching them. So Phoenix doing really well, and I really do like Phoenix as a sleeper this year. I think they're going to do good. I don't think they're going to win the championship, but I think they're going to do good in the playoffs. Minnesota losing 6. What a shame. Like I said, I love Minnesota. I love their logo. I love everything about them. But it's just sad. Many are thinking that the Love trade was a bad deal for Minnesota, but its future looks bright. Always like the Timberwolves, still do. Listen, here's the thing. Kevin Love being traded from Minnesota for Andrew Wiggins, I think early on, I believe I said that it was good. Kevin Love gets to go somewhere else. You still have Rubio. You still have who I think is a great player, Budinger. You have all these players who are awesome, that are good pieces. You just need to put them together correctly. I think there was Corey Brewer on Minnesota, and I had him on my fantasy league to begin the fantasy season, and I quickly dropped him. He is a loser. Do not go towards that man. But now they've gotten rid of him, and I think Minnesota might start to up curve here at the end of the season. They're not going to win like streaks of 5, but they're going to win 2 and lose 4, that type of a thing. That's going to happen for Minnesota this year. No real hope for them. Andrew Wiggins is going to try to form himself into a player. If you remember the New Orleans Hornets a couple seasons ago with the Brow, they weren't great. They weren't that great, and he was a rookie, and he didn't do that well. Give Andrew Wiggins time. Minnesota will be back to tip-top shape with their combo of Rubio and a big power forward / center in Wiggins. So I think it'll be fine for them. All right, let's go to Jesters and Royals, and let's finish this out. Jesters, new format this week. 1, the New York Knicks are the first Jesters. Why? Because they just suck, and I hate Carmelo Anthony. 2, second Jester, Kevin Durant's injuries. What is wrong with this guy? Come on, man. The Oklahoma City Thunder need you. They want their championship. Get with the picture. And the third, the biggest Jesters of all, 3 Jesters for the Utah Jazz, because why would you let Paul Millsap and DeMar Carroll go? They were studs. I said this 3 years ago when you let them go. They're studs. Why are you letting them go? And I'm going to say that about Alec Burks and Trey Burke now. They're studs. Keep them here. They're awesome. Don't let them go. Rodney Hood as well, so keep him too. Everybody else, maybe trade away, maybe work around favors. Let him go. Let these people go and keep the studs, the diamonds in the rough who aren't going to want more money. So please, please don't screw up. All right, let's go to the Royals for the week. 1, Golden State Warriors, even though they lost to the Lakers, they still had an impressive week. They came back against Oklahoma City Thunder. They won that game. Did they have an overtime game this week? There was some crazy overtime games, some crazy brawls between Portland. I think Portland had 2 games that went into overtime, and that both games there was a brawl and a fight. So crazy stuff happening for Portland. Portland doing really well too. Why didn't I put them up there? Man, maybe next week. Maybe next week for the Royals we'll put on Portland. But anyway, Golden State doing well. Continue the good job, Steve Curry. What am I thinking? I'm mixing up the head coach and the head player. Whatever, moving on, they're doing great. Atlanta Hawks, number 2. They're doing awesome. So for the opposite reason that the Jazz is on the Jesters, Atlanta Hawks is on the Royals. They're doing great. They are 4-0 this week. They're on a win streak. Let them keep on going. DeMarre Carroll, again, junkyard dog, a stud. Number 3, Carlos Boozer. Of course, he's on my fantasy league. I gotta give my fantasy league a little bit of a bump here, because I'm 3rd out of, I think, 9 or 10 or so, and I'm definitely gonna make the playoffs. My team's awesome. The other players in my fantasy league kind of suck. Hopefully next year we can get something on my channel, and we'll get people in our circle, the people who I know who comment frequently in on my fantasy league, and we can talk about this more sufficiently, my fantasy league. But Carlos Boozer doing awesome work for me in that game against the Warriors. So very well done, Carlos Boozer. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for this edition of King's Court NBA edition. A couple new things. You've got the ticker on the bottom for comments. Not too many this time, but a lot of great feedback. I mean, there was some good stuff that came out of this. And we're on week 2, and I'm still having a bunch of fun. So we're gonna continue it. So again, for the whole next week, from this date, the 25th is when you're listening to this, to the 1st or 2nd, whatever the next Thursday is. I could probably look. I don't have to be a lazy ass about it. The 1st. So until, let's see, I'll go until December 31st at 2 p.m. Mountain Time. Is when you can get your comments in, and if they're good, I'll put them on the ticker that you saw in this video. So we'll get more comments coming in. We'll get more conversations. We had great conversations last week. We're going to have better ones this week. So keep being the awesome people that you are. Keep supporting by liking, all that other fun, good stuff. And I think for Christmas Day, my whole plan is to listen to podcasts, watch basketball, and eat stuff, candy probably. So I've got a great Christmas. Speaking of Christmas, happy Christmas episode. Wow, amazing, a Christmas episode for number 2. So happy Christmas, merry holidays, Kwanzaa, solstice, all those other fun things, and have a great year, ending of the year. So yes, again, put your comments out, and Derek D. Ginger King checking out.